Hello, Flosstube. It's Sunday, March 22nd. It's 2 p.m. in the afternoon here in the Netherlands, and this is a new video for my channel Annemiek from the Handwerk Boetiek. I'm Annemiek, and this is the Handwerk Boetiek, and I'm looking forward to share some stitching updates with you, to talk a bit about market, about life, and about the virus that we cannot ignore anymore, and we'll just talk about that as well. First of all, it's been a bit longer than I expected. I had planned last Sunday to do a video and show you what I had stitched on while I was away in the US, and show you some market updates. However, Sunday morning around 6 a.m. I woke up and this was happening across the street. I'll just insert a photo here. Jesus. Now, nobody got injured. It was property damage only, but the pizzeria across the street burned down completely. It also took a neighboring building, and the firefighters worked for, I think, like over 6 hours to get everything under control. It was a pretty heavy fire. There was a lot of smoke, and I had never seen anything like this in my life, this close, and let me tell you, it is a very scary experience. The firefighters ordered us out of our house by 6:15 a.m. So we were all standing on the street behind the tape, and just watched what they were doing and watch how the fire spread and how quickly it goes, how much smoke there is. It's unbelievable. If you have never seen this, I hope you never will. And my respect for firefighters has grown immensely. I mean, I have respected them always, especially for what they do. But if you see the circumstances in which they have to do their work, it's really humbling that they are able to do that and willing to do that. Now, the other part of this whole event happening was that I needed to get in touch with my insurance company. They were really great. They helped me out. I got an ozone generator in the shop in order to prevent anything smelling of smoke. My cousin actually told me that there was this generator that could do that. If you ever have a fire near you and your insurance will cover it, I can so recommend it. It's a little machine. You need to tape off doors, etc., because it sucks the oxygen out of the air, and by doing that, it also removes any smell. But of course, it's dangerous if you live in the same house like I do. I live above the shop, so in order to keep a healthy environment for me and Bookie, they taped off 2 doors, which meant I couldn't get from the kitchen to the shop anymore. I had to go outside and walk around, but that was okay. I mean, the whole purpose of the of this was to make sure that no smoke would get into the threads and the fabrics, and it worked perfectly. It really is a magical machine. It's not that big. It's about the size, I don't know, it's about maybe 2.5 foot long, 2 foot wide. I don't know. And it's not really that heavy, so you can easily transport it yourself. It's really a good thing to use when something like this happens. Like I said, I'm very thankful that nobody got injured. It's bad enough for the 2 companies involved, especially in this time. But I hope that they will be able to recover. We'll see. For now, there's just rubble across the street, and yeah, we'll just have to deal with it as it is. But I am really thankful that the insurance company stepped up so quickly and handed me over the machine. They came on the Sunday, taped off the doors, and everything is just fine in the shop. It's really a huge relief. So that was last week. Then, of course, I had to spend a couple of days working with the insurance company to, work out all the kinks and stuff and get all that done. In the meantime, because of the COVID-19, the coronavirus, the university had shut down all buildings. All students needed to go home. They would resume with online teaching, which meant that I couldn't go to work. I had to work from home. And of course, in the first week, we had to make sure that students and staff knew what was going on. We worked on some information for them, and it was all in all a pretty crazy week. I do hope that now that they made the decision to do only online classes until the start of the next semester, the next academic school year, that everything will sort of quiet down a bit and that our staff gets the time to figure out how to do all this online teaching, how we can do exams online. It's a lot of change, and it asks a lot of people. And I do realize that, people that work in hospitals or in healthcare are carrying a much harder burden, I think. But it affects a lot of people. People do not know whether they'll get paid. People do not know if they can keep their company alive. I'm just very, very thankful that I got back in time. If market had been a week later, so if it had been last weekend, I think it would have been canceled. It would have had a catastrophic effect, I think, on the designers and the shops. We would all have spent our money on tickets, on hotels, and I doubt that it would have been refundable. The designers would have to ship all their new designs. I don't know. I think we're just very blessed that market took place when it did, that pretty much everybody was able to get home. I know the Italian designers had a bit of trouble getting home, but in the end, I heard from a few of them that they were able to get home. I hope that they are healthy. I hope you are healthy. I hope that you stay inside. I hope that everybody complies as much as possible to the new rules we have. Over here, it means you need to have 1.5 meters, so about 6 foot between you and the next person at least. You can tell in supermarkets and out on the street that not a lot of people really realize how much that distance actually is. I try to do only grocery shopping when I need to, and not be outside if I really don't have to. It's a good thing we have our stitching. That helps, I think. But even then, normally you'd say, oh, I'd sign up for a week of, having to stay inside and cannot go outside, cannot go to work maybe. But now I think it's something you have to do, which is always more difficult. And also the threat of this virus is, it's nowhere near its peak here in the Netherlands. I think the next week is going to be very important to see if we can make sure that there are the least amount of infection possible, if not too many people have to go to the IC. But I'm not sure. They're predicting that we have over 400 people in ICU now, and I think they're predicting that it can go to 1,400 next week. So my heart goes out to everybody who's been affected by this virus, whether it's, somebody you love who have it, but maybe you have it yourself, maybe you need to stay inside, maybe you are affected financially. It's scary times at the moment, and we just have to get through, I think. I mean, I really hope that a month, maybe 2 months from now, the world looks different, that we can look more on the upside. Maybe that's too optimistic. Maybe it'll take longer. But in the meantime, I think it's important that we support each other, that we keep in touch with each other. And even though we cannot meet in person, we can, record videos for Flosstube and share that with you. Well, this was a very long introduction and no stitching stuff. I hope you didn't get too bored. I just think it's important to talk about it. If you know somebody that you think might have trouble with the isolation, somebody who maybe lives by themselves, maybe an older person, really reach out to them, send them a card, call them. We taught my mom FaceTime so that she can FaceTime with my brother and sister-in-law who live about half an hour from here. I think that's the one positive about nowadays technologies. We can really use it to our advantage now. And let's make sure that we keep an eye on, each other. Having said all that, market was a blast. It was amazing. I know there's been lots of videos out. Gary and Vanna did a great job videoing, I think, almost every single room. So I didn't have time for that. I had just enough hours to get almost everything done that I wanted to get done. There's always at the end of market where you're just, you're scrambling to get the last pieces done to visit that last designer or supplier, and then boom, it's 4 o'clock and market's closed. But this year was, I think, a really good market. I think a lot of designers really put out great designs. It was very upbeat. It is always so special to be able to see everybody again, to catch up, talk a bit. Market is almost like one big reunion for us. It's really special, and I'm really, really thankful that it was able to get through, that I was able to get on the plane home the next day, that I got home safe and sound, and that I wasn't stranded somewhere. I think that was the scary prospect of, if you would have to stay longer, there was just no telling if you were able to get home or not. So it was good to be home again. Pookie was very glad to see me. I was very glad to see him. And we got working on sending our orders out. We're not there completely because last weekend's event completely threw off the whole planning, and I had to spend my time doing other stuff than sending out orders. But in the coming week, everything should have wrapped up. There's just, I think, like 2 orders that we need to get in. I know they've been shipped, but of course with, what's going on, there's no telling when we get them. So we'll just wait patiently. I'm sure they'll end up here, and when they do, I'll let you know if you have ordered one of those items. In the meantime, I thought I would show you what I've been stitching on. We have 3 new shop models ready. I have a bit of WIP progress, and I pulled some of my favorite designs for market. Now, this, like I said, this market was a blast. It was really, really good. So I have like 25 charts that I would like to start now. It was that good. So many designers. It feels like market gets better every single year. Anyway, let me just show you what I really liked from these particular designers. I just went through one of the boxes here in the shop and just pulled what I would like to start. So anyways, shop models first. We got the model stitched for Sleeping Bee by the Blue Flower. It's really, really pretty. It's more of a wintry design, but still, I think you can, keep it around for quite a long time. This is what our model looks like. I really, really like it. We did change the color for the wings. It's called for Lunar Eclipse by Classic Colorworks, but the Lunar Eclipse I had in the shop was like a grayish white maybe. It didn't have any of the slight blue in this, so we changed it for another color. Had to admit, I don't remember what color we used. I know that we run out of that color because I suggested it to a couple of customers who wanted to get the frets for this particular design. And I just looked for a color that would go well with the blue, the darker shade of blue. Let me see. So this shade of blue, and then this would need to have enough variegation that you could see it. So if you are in the same spot, you want to stitch this one and the lunar eclipse is just not bluish enough, just go for another color. I mean, there's plenty of colors out there, and just, I think the other color was Crystal Lake by the Gentle Art. Just so take the Crystal Lake and look around and see which color might work well with it. I've substituted a couple of different colors just to make sure that it matched really well. Anyway, I think we're gonna to frame him, her, I think. We just haven't decided yet if we're going to do a mat or if we're just going to do a frame around it. So we'll see. So that was our first model. Then this was stitched a while ago by a friend of my mom's, and it's Patchwork Sheep by Heart in Hand Needle Art. I really love this design. I think it's so cute. So this will go up in the shop pretty soon since it's already finished, framed and everything. And then this was stitched, it was stitched on 36 count Zweigart light mocha, and we did change some of the colors. So, but really it's basically what it looked like on the picture and the cover of the design. And then a friend of mine stitched the lady from this design, and then another friend finished it into a little stand-up. Isn't she cute? I like her so much. I think she's really adorable. And of course you can stitch the whole piece, but I really like to have a little stand-up of the girl with the flower and the bird in her hand. And here, these little sheep around here. They are adorable. So yeah, that's one of the new models as well. There is a winter version of this one. If I can find the picture and I know how to insert it, I'll insert it here. And I think we're going to stitch that one, over the summer or something so that we have it ready in time for winter. The design is BU, Just You by Jardin Privé. So that's that. So those are the new shop models. We're really excited about them. It's always nice to have new stuff that you can hang up in the shop. I realized that I need to exchange these. See, those are still our wintry models. I need to go and see if we can change those. It's just been crazy. This past week was just a lot of ups and downs and getting used to the new normal and making sure that I got groceries for my mom, that I delivered them to her, that, we would have our 6-foot distance between the two of us. Mom is staying at home. She's not in the shop at the moment. She's 80, so she's at that age group where they say, really, you should stay home. You should not do grocery shopping anymore. Like everywhere else, it's kind of hard to listen to these kind of new rules. And a lot of people are just not complying. So on Friday, I did some grocery shopping for Mom and me. And the number of people of an age who are supposed to stay at home that were still out there shopping was kind of shocking. I really hope that nobody will get, affected by the virus. And I do wonder how long this will last. I think the government is at the point where if people do not behave, they're going to propose a total lockdown. I really hope it doesn't get that far, but sometimes it's necessary to convey the dire situation that it is. So we'll see. Over to happier stuff. While traveling to the US, I got some stitching done. Now, getting to the US was a little bit of a challenge. I left on Friday, February 28th. and got stuck in London. So the plane from Amsterdam to London had a delay of almost 2 hours, which was about the time I had to change planes in London. Apparently, British Airways already knew what was going on, because once we got there, it turned out that people from Portugal, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, and even from within the UK, from Manchester, all were on flights that were delayed, missed their international connection. So they had to put up about 100 people and more in a hotel for the night. So I spent the night in London and then got on the 10 a.m. flight to Dallas the next day. Fortunately, that all went down without a hitch. So I got in Dallas early afternoon and was able to spend, the rest of the afternoon and evening with my friends. But it was an interesting experience. It's not really something I look forward to do again. But then again, we'll have to see when, we're able to fly at all. So maybe it was just a good thing that it happened this time. Anyway, while there, I have stitched Stitching Bird by Heart in Hand Needle Art. Now it's finished except for the little button that goes here. So I promise you, once this video is done, I'll attach the little button so that I can really call it finished. I really like this little bird. They're fun to stitch, these little birdies. I think they're, a little funky with their long legs. And for markets, Cecilia released, let me check, Quilting Bird, which is going to be one of my next starts. I really like it. And I think what I'll do is I'll flip it so that the two birds, see, I can't do this here, but that the two, well, like this, that the two birds will look towards each other. I think that would be cute. So I think I'll just flip this one. Anyway, that was my first finish. And then, while in Dallas with my friends, I got to stitch quite a bit, which was really nice. So this is, I think it's called Autumn Alphabet by the Scarlet House. I have loved this design ever since it came out. I really have this thing for letters and fonts, and just the font of this alphabet I really, really like. So I stitched it with pretty much the called for flower colors. It's again, it's on 36 count light mocha by Zweigart. I changed out this color to espresso bean, and I think there's green in here. The green is piney woods, and this is brandy, the very light color. It's just because I didn't have the called for colors, and I just looked at the picture and I thought, well, these will work as well. The pumpkin was lovely to stitch. Great stitch. So I got this one done. Those are my two finishes. I haven't decided yet if we're going to frame this one or if I turn it into a pillow. I'm inclined to say I'm going to frame it because I think it would look good with a frame. We'll see. Then I started working on one of my WIPs, the Buttoned-Eyed Cat by Scarlet House. This is it. It's so cute. I just love these buttons for the eyes. So I got a bit more done. His head is there. That grin is kind of spooky. So yeah, I need to fill in the background, the eyes, the ears. Let me check. Yeah, and then it's just the background. So that shouldn't take too long. It's a lot of stitching because you just, it's solid stitching, but it's kind of easy to do. Once I got the grid line done for this, I can just go and fill in and don't have to count anymore. So yeah, I'm hoping to get this finished in the near future. And then this week, I had put my stitching that I had brought on the plane also in the shop so that the ozone generator could do its work just in case. And it meant that I couldn't get the project like the cat, this one, I couldn't get to it. So I picked a new WIP that I've been working on. It's the Schoolhouse Coverlet Drum by Heartstring Samplery. And this is how far I got so far. The house is going to be a lot of work. It's not hard. It's not really difficult to stitch, but it's a lot of stitching. You can tell. It's almost solid stitching from one end to the other, except for the windows and the door. But it's kind of nice. It's relaxing. This week, I needed something in the evening to stitch on that didn't require a whole lot of brain power because, you know, by 8 p.m. my brain power was pretty much emptied out. And unfortunately, I couldn't just plug in my brain into, you know, whatever kind of translator to get it more wired up again. So something simple to stitch on was really, really nice to do. It's stitched on a mystery piece on linen, 36 count. I think it's R&R. And I'm using Uniform Blue by the Gentle Art. So that's it. And then, let me see. That's all the stitching stuff. This past week, I haven't been able to stitch really that much. I thought that, you know, once I got back from market, I would be able to really stitch. Well, life just threw a couple of curveballs, and, you know, I just had to use my time for other stuff. I managed to stitch, I think, 2 days at market, which is a new one because usually I don't have time or energy to stitch at all. And it's always a bit of a pity because you walk around at market and there's like a gazillion projects that you would like to start right there and right then. And you just know that you don't have time for it. And even worse, once you get home, you still don't have a lot of time for it. But that's okay. I'm kind of thinking that I might do Mania this year. I don't think I'll do 31 new starts because that would just be pushing it for me. But I might do 20, which is still a big number. So I'm sort of going over the new Nashville designs and looking at what I would like to start, what I would like to have as a shop model or stitch as a piece in my own living room. So I just have to see how that works out. I do know that maybe it's because we're sort of cooped up in the house. I feel more desire to start new things than I've ever done before. I mean, once this is over, once I've recorded this, I'm so tempted to start something new. It's like, oh man, I'm itching, you know. I just want to start one of the new designs. I have enough WIPs going on, so I might be, you know, try to be a good girl and stick with the WIPs that I have. We'll see. I'll tell you next video. Now over to some of my favorites for market. I already showed you the Quilting Bird by Heart in Hand, but Cecilia also released this one, the Bluebird Sampler. I love these bird samplers. And again, the letters really do it for me. I stitched the Redbird Sampler, and I picked up at market Old Yield Crow, as well as, I think it's Tom Turkey. So we'll see. This one is definitely going to be started soon because it's one color. It's not that hard. I do know from the Redbird Sampler, it takes a bit longer than you expect it to do, but still, it's so cute. So this one. Continuing with the letters and the fonts, this is Icy Red from the Scarlet House. Any kind of red sampler is a good sampler, and this one is just really fun. It's also an excellent resource if you want to add your initials to, you know, a stitched piece, if you need to add some text or change text. It got capitals, it got small letters. You can do pretty much anything with this chart. And of course, you can just stitch it as it is, but really as a resource for alphabets, it's a great one. Then Stacy Nash had Hannah Jenkinson's sampler out from 1787. I just love it. It's not a very complicated sampler. It's mostly letters. There's some eyelets. But, I mean, reproducing a sampler from 1787. How cool would that be? I really like this. It seems like there's a common thread in my favorites. This one is from La Di Da. It's the Little Summer Sampler. Again, the letters. The letters are great. And I like the colors, the soft, muted colors. I think it's a great design. It's not that big. It's 118 stitches square, but it is so cute. So yeah, really like this one. And then the last one, it does have letters on it, but not a whole alphabet. It's Antique Birds and Cages by Shakespeare's Peddler. It's in her series of antique. She's got antique lock and keys, antique teacups. I think there's another one. I don't remember. But this was the new one. And I love birds. I love old bird cages. So, and again, it's in one color. So how hard can it be to finish this pretty quickly? Am I optimistic? Too optimistic? I don't know. I just know that it's on my list of what I really, really would like to start. There's way more charts that I would like to start for market, but I thought I would spread it out a little bit because otherwise you'll just have to look at these charts, and it's nice to, in a couple of weeks see some charts again and realize how great they are. Because I think if there's one thing that Flosstube has taught me, it's that older designs can all of a sudden become really popular because somebody shows it to you. And when you can only see the picture on a website, it doesn't have the same appeal as when somebody shows you the stitched piece. That's why, we as shop owners stitch models for the shop, because a model conveys the colors and the texture so much better than any photo can do. I mean, the photos are great, don't get me wrong. I mean, we do like to see what we're going to stitch. But haven't you had the same thing that when you started stitching on something, you think, oh, this looks so much better than the photo? I really, really like that. And I really feel blessed that there are so many Flosstube videos out that will inspire you to look at older charts as well. Anyway, I don't know if I'm going to do a new video next week or that I just stick to my 2-week routine. I would know that I won't have a lot of stitching done in a week. So maybe I'll just go with 2 weeks and then I have a little bit more stitching done. I'll show you some more charts for market. We're working on the Nashville catalog. That got put on the back burner this week a bit because of everything that was happening. But it's hopefully going out this week. It'll have a lot of all the new stuff. We have some new designers that were at market, which was really great. I mean, a lot of designers have been going to market for 15 to 20 years now, which means they are getting a bit older as well. I mean, they get older very gracefully, but still, I can imagine that at some point, someone will say, okay, it's time for me to retire now and, live a different life. And it's so good to see that we got new, younger designers coming in who are doing a great job, who are tackling market, which is really a huge challenge if you haven't done that before. And I'm so glad that they're there. So enjoy all the new stuff. If you have a local needlework shop and you cannot visit because of the COVID-19 virus, send in a mail order. I'm sure they'll be happy to mail them out. We are still open for now. We're closed this Wednesday and Thursday afternoon. We're open this Friday if nothing else happens. We're more than happy to mail you your stuff. If you see new designs out on the web, out on our website, in the catalog later this week that you would like to have, just let us know. We can mail it out to you. The post here is still working, so it shouldn't be a problem. And I think it's important that we support local small businesses as much as possible these days. Everybody has their own challenge, and we can only look to see what we can do for each other. So that being said, Stay inside, wash your hands, stay healthy, and keep stitching. At least we have some more time, I hope, to enjoy our great hobby. Really, take care of each other and enjoy your stitching time. See you next time. Bye.